All right, so I am recording. I am really excited about today. Today I am talking to Steve Clark. Steve is a real estate agent with Keller Williams in the Pasadena office. And the way that this interview came about was I was interviewing Brock Worthen, who is the team leader in Pasadena, a couple weeks ago. And he says, you got to talk to Steve Clark. This guy is totally cool. He's a musician, a drummer. He's got this great vibe, and you got to talk to him. And not only that, he's absolutely crushing it in real estate. So that's what we're doing. So, Steve, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
In the interest of full disclosure, we talked yesterday. We had a bad connection, and it was just a great interview. So I'm hoping to duplicate that again. It was awesome.
I'll say it all again.
Yeah,
exactly the same
I wrote
way.
everything down, so it's perfect. Yeah. So tell us. So three questions. You know, what'd you do before real estate? You got a great story, and it's very exciting. And then what brought you to real estate? And then what are you doing now? What kind of numbers and volume and all that kind of stuff? Whatever you're comfortable sharing. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I was a professional drummer before real estate. So I got the bug very early on with drumming. So I was 5 years old. I started taking drum lessons. Super fortunate to have kind of found that thing that early on. So by the time I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I'd already had a relationship with the instrument and was giving me all the positive feedback that a young kid wants and needs. So that got me through, and it also it created a very singular goal. For me, I wasn't the kid who tried a bunch of different things, and 1 month of tennis and 1 month of racquetball, and drumming was my constant, which also was great because it kept me out of doing bad things. I was very focused. Right. So when I was 18, 19 years old, I became a professional drummer and got to tour for the better part of 13 years. I was a touring rock guy. Did that whole thing. And I met my wife when I was very young, when I was 19 years old, or maybe just 20 years old when I met her. So being gone from her all that time, months and months at a time, and we made a life of it, but it was difficult. Sure. And then we had our first child in '02, which was awesome. But 3 months after my daughter was born, went back on tour for a while, and I really didn't come home till she was 2.5. So it was just ridiculous. And the life that I created with my wife, we as adults navigated and figured it out. But then I brought this little baby into the world and was absent, and just seemed like the absolutely wrong thing to be doing. So the passion that I had consistently for 27 whatever years, just the light switch went off. It was gone, and it was time for a new thing in my life, which was super scary. Because not only had I come off a pretty successful career, but I was a young father and no college education, no work experience. My resume was empty with the exception of drumming all over our fine world. So I didn't really know what to do, to be honest. I was freaking out, but I knew I had to get out of music, and I wasn't the kind of person who could quit drumming but then be in the music industry. To be in that world, I needed to be drumming. Mm-hmm. Someone's coming in. Hey there, that's Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
I won't say hi to Jeremy. There he is. And so my brother Greg, who also is at Keller Williams, had just made the change up in the Silicon Valley from like a high-tech software salesman, very successful, but never really loved his job, but he made a lot of money doing it. He had just made the change into being a real estate agent up there. And so when I called him and said, I'm done, he told me, of course, that I wasn't done, and this was one of probably 20 phone calls I had throughout my life to him saying I was done, but this time I really was done. And we had a heart-to-heart, and he's awesome and very fatherly to me, always has been. And he was just like, look, man, I'm doing real estate, and I'm killing it right out of the gate. And I think a lot of the things that one needs to become a good real estate agent, you kind of already have. And I think you'll like certain aspects of it. Give it a shot.
Right.
So I called. The only other real estate agent that I really knew was the guy who sold my wife and I our house. So I called him and just said, what do I do? How do I get my license? And he drove over, met with me, and not only said, go get your license at whatever this online school was or whatever it was back then, but that there will be a place on my team as a buyer's agent. You can, at Sotheby's, and you can just start working right away.
Right.
Which was super exciting because I didn't know what I was doing. So, studied, passed, which was miraculous, and started selling houses really right out of the gate, and created a little thing. He and I became business partners. He had about 15 years experience in the industry, which was great, and I was the new guy. So he and I partnered up within 6 months. Then we had a couple agents working for us and an assistant. So I kind of hit the jackpot right out of the gate.
Right.
Right. No turning back.
And what? So then you came to fast forward. You came to Keller Williams. I think you said about 3 months ago.
Yeah, just the January. I think January of this year. So just a few months ago.
So when did you strike out on your own? And then what kind of numbers? With Clark Living behind you, love that logo.
Yeah.
What kind of numbers are you doing? And what?
Well, about 7 years ago. So about 5 years into the relationship, as a partner with this guy, and our team at Sotheby's, he and I decided not to be partners anymore, and it became very obvious that I shouldn't be at the same firm. Once you have a bit of a divorce, you don't want to sleep in the same house. So there was a boutique firm that I was very attracted to, very high-end boutique firm called DZ Penner and Partners. I worked there for about 6 years, and that was awesome. And then at the end of last year, it became kind of evident that I wanted to really blow the Clark Living brand. I really wanted to exploit that. It's something I've always been passionate about, and it's always been on the back burner. Some companies don't really kind of embrace the team and embrace agents and becoming their own business owners. And this whole expansion module that KW has is insane. I think it's like the next step in all of this. Right. So there's a guy here named Brock Worthen who he's incredibly good looking. You've seen him. His teeth.
He's all right.
Yeah. He told me today that he had brown rice and salmon for lunch.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I told him from now on I'm interviewing guys that are like 25 years older than me.
It's ridiculous. So he told me that, and then I went and got orange chicken at Kung Fu Panda or whatever that place, Panda Express. So anyway, so he's been kind of reaching out to me over the years, and he's a great guy. He flew me out to ESO, I think it's called, expansion something over there, out in Austin at the end of last year. I wasn't at KW. He just kind of took a leap of faith and was like, "Dude, you got to go see what this is," and it's awesome. It's great. And so I did. To answer your other question, I'm consistently over 40 million in transactions. Last year, I think it was 43 or 44 million. And that was basically just being like the lone wolf.
Right.
There was no team. It was just like the Steve Clark show, which is awesome, but it's incredibly taxing.
Sure.
It's 7 days a week, all day, all night.
Right.
Nuttiness for 12 years. So I'm really excited to be part of KW, but really selfishly to get Clark Living to the next level, create Clark Living teams all over the place. So I'm excited.
That's great. One of the things I really liked, I did my show prep, and I took a look at your website, and I was really, really impressed with the videos that you do on the site. And I was really impressed by the clients. And even though they're doing it as part of I would call it a promotion, right? I mean but they were.
It's amazing that they would agree to do it. First of all,
exactly. So many of them agreed to do that, which is so rare. But beyond that, it just came through how authentic you are, and how you just have this really great, just this great style. Where does that come from? Talk about that, and then also what drives you. What's your big? We call it our big why. What's your big purpose?
Yeah. Didn't we say it yesterday?
Yeah.
Like The Jerk, the movie The Jerk,
yeah.
Special Purpose.
Right. Special purpose.
Yeah, is offending people. No, it's so. Yeah, I mean that's a great question. The why, and I said yesterday, and repeating myself. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy. It's ridiculously cheesy, but it's true. Is very good advice was given to me when I was I think my first year in real estate was, if you're in this to make money, you will not make money. Mm-hmm. If you're in this to help people, you will make money, and you will make more money than you probably ever thought you could.
Right.
And so my big why is just simply that. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Right. Like I'm not a saint. I'm I'm a human being with good and bad and all that good stuff. But the reality is, like, I'm just trying to help people every day.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And oftentimes that comes down to helping them find a house, helping them sell a house, but it could mean 1,000 other ways to help people. And so the more I put that out with no agenda, just truly like, hey, what can I do to help? Hey, my name's Steve Clark. What can I do to help? So that's come back, and it's been great. And so I've got a team now, and I've got some young agents that I'm mentoring and helping through the process, and that's something I push on them. And real estate agents as a whole, we don't have the best reputation out there,
right?
To say it, kindly. And I think we've earned that. I think we've earned the fact that we're like used car salesmen, and people think we're scumbags. And I think I don't know the stats, 80, 90, whatever percent, but there are a lot of agents who are not looking out for their clients. They are not trying to help their clients. Right. They're trying to make a buck.
Right. And
they're trying to slam you into a deal, and they're doing whatever they can. And we just don't play that game at all. So that's been the secret sauce in my success and my team's success, and will continue to be. That's it. That's the bottom line. If your heart's in the right place and you're helping people, I think things will go great.
Do you mind sharing some of the ways that you get business? I mean, are you comfortable? I mean, we all know there's only 6 or 7 ways, right? I mean,
well, tight pants.
Yeah. I can't edit that. I don't have any. I don't know how to edit. So
yeah,
sorry.
That's why I said
it's going in.
No edit. Well, I mean, you mentioned, before the big why question was that I'm very lucky to have such cool clients, and I think a lot of that is kind of where I came from. When you come from the entertainment industry, specifically the music industry, and I established myself pretty early on as like, I didn't shy away from the fact that I used to be a professional musician and that these are my people. But really the key for me is just being genuine on some level, just being me. And I think, as I said yesterday, I totally did not do that at the beginning. I was an actor playing the part of a real estate agent. 100%. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. When I made the call to my real estate agent to, come over and tell me how to get my license and all that stuff, I think I was wearing Doc Marten combat boots up to my knees and cargo shorts, and I had a mohawk and 5 facial piercings, and that's who I was. Right. Then all of a sudden, like, boom, the next day, it's like shave the mohawk off, take the piercings out, buy a suit, coerce my father-in-law into teaching me how to tie a tie, and get rid of my cool little car and buy a 4-door black luxury car and be a real estate agent, because that's what you're supposed to do. Right. And then you're supposed to say things and supposed to whatever, and you're supposed to be.
Sadly, you just described me.
No. We'll talk about that.
That's it. No, I'm getting some Doc Martens tomorrow. I'm done. Mohawk.
But I heard early on things like, listen, you don't want to put me into a gunfight with a knife. Yeah. And I was like, why did he just say that? Well, let's not put the cart in front of the horse. And you're like, why? Why do we have to say cheesy, salesy things? Right, I mean, that doesn't have to be part of this, right?
Exactly.
It took me a few years to kind of figure out that I wasn't being genuine to myself, which then meant I wasn't being genuine to my clients. Right. They probably smelled that on some level. Oh, yeah. Like, why is this guy, he doesn't, there's just something. So my wife and I did a lot of soul searching. And to be completely honest, she wasn't totally happy with this guy. It's like, she didn't care that I was a drummer. Mm-hmm. She didn't care. Did Skype just do something wacky with you? Or
no, I think I'm okay. You all right?
Well, it went down to about 1 inch, so you're just like a little thumbnail. But
I think we're still fine. Yeah,
you're still pretty good looking.
Yeah,
hold on, let's see. Oh God, now you're gone.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. I don't know.
That's okay.
I can't see.
I think we're still rolling.
Okay. So she didn't care. My wife didn't care that I was a professional drummer. Okay. She didn't care that I was a real estate agent. She wouldn't care if I was a roofer or a psychologist. She doesn't care. She just wants me to be me doing that. Right. That's my job. That's not me. It doesn't define who I am. And when I was playing the part of the real estate agent, I think she was like, "Whoa, where'd my husband go? Like, what's going on here, man? You've whatever." So we had some soul searching, which led to me truly becoming comfortable in my own skin, and understanding that I can be a real estate agent and be me. Right. And I can drive a Mini Cooper, and I can wear jeans and a T-shirt, and I can say words that I probably shouldn't say in our Skype interview right now. but
Yeah.
they're adult words,
Right.
and adults are okay hearing those words occasionally, and that's how I talk. So it's cool. And that was the moment when I went from like kind of marginally successful to successful.
Right.
Is when and I was genuine. And then I think my clients caught that vibe.
Right.
And I'm super lucky because I have the coolest clients, and
You
happily
know,
ever after.
that's a great point. And I was just talking to, I have a coaching group here, and we were just talking this morning. And after speaking to you, and I've been saying this for a long time, it's important to be authentic. This is who I am. I wear a tie and the pink shirts and stuff like that. But that's who I am. But I think it's so important, especially in the world that we live in today, because things are moving so quickly and so fast, and there's so much communication over text and Facebook and Pinterest and all that. That belly to belly, face to face contact is so critical. But have you ever had fear about making a call or talking to people? And if so, how do you overcome that? I mean, do you ever are afraid to pick up the phone or afraid to talk to somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. Fear is an interesting word, I think, but trepidation, fear, anxiety.
Yeah.
It all means the same thing, right?
Right.
And I have that every day. I think I'm very lucky. I'm hardwired a certain way, and I like people, and I'm not afraid of rejection. I'm not afraid of picking up a phone or knocking on a door and having someone say, I'm not interested. Okay, cool. I wouldn't be interested if you knocked on my door, so I get it.
Right.
So that doesn't bother me at all. What does bother me is the difficult phone call in a transaction.
Right.
That's where I get scared.
Right.
That's where the fear or the anxiety comes in. But as far as meeting people in an elevator, that's my thing. And I love that part. But my thing every day, the struggle is I look at my calendar, my daily agenda, and there are 50 phone calls that need to be returned or made or emails or whatever. And they're like, of the 50, 47 of them are like smooth and fun and, hey, congratulations, you got the house, or boom, it turns out, the solar panels aren't going to be as expensive as you thought they were. The other three, the three of the, those aren't good, fun phone calls. And those are still, 12 years down the road, they're still, you got to do 3 big, deep breaths in the nose and out the mouth and have a little, coffee and get ready for them. Because they're, you got, I had not only just a phone call. I mean, this morning, I had a face-to-face with a client who has transcended client and has become one of my best friends, and crushing news. I mean, I just had bad news. There's no other way just to say, hey man, this is what the lender said, and this is what's going on, and you can't get the house, and it turns out you can't get a house.
Right.
You're not in a position to buy, and I'm sorry. And those are tough. Those are tough things to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's a good point. It's also our job to be honest and deliver the news, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good.
We're the deliverer of information. That's
yeah. But I'm hearing you've done the groundwork. I don't know if that's the right words, but you've established the relationship with them, and you're very authentic. So does that make it a little bit easier when you have to deliver that bad news?
Maybe. I don't know. It's really the only way at this point. It's really the only way I know.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's a bit preachy, but like I said, I've got a lot of people in my life on a day-to-day, hourly basis that are coming for advice, and I'm training them and all these good things. And I'm not telling you that my way is the right way.
Right.
At all.
Right.
And a lot of times maybe it's the wrong way,
right.
but it's my way.
It's your way. Yep.
And, take like one of the guys on my team that I'm mentoring right now, we went on a listing appointment yesterday. Mm-hmm. I've never met the person. I've never been in this person's house. I had no idea what I was walking into. It's a very stressful moment. And I've got this guy with me who I'm like, dude, you got to just not say anything. You got to just be here kind of as a shadow. I'll explain to the client who and why you're here. But you got to just, kind of chill. And what was the question? I lost it. ADD. I saw something shiny.
Oh, I was listening. Just the fact that you're authentic and laying the groundwork, does that help you when you have to deliver the bad news?
Oh yeah. So but why was I telling the listing appointment thing? I don't know. But the bottom line is, you're just incredibly honest at that point. I think my house is worth this. It's not.
Yeah.
the deliverer of news, right?
Right. We're experiencing that here in our market. We're going through a real shift, and those conversations, again, getting back to what you just said, having that relationship or establishing that relationship as quickly as possible and as authentic as possible is very, very important, because the conversations are changing here, and so you got to have those difficult conversations. Great stuff. So I have you have the benefit of talking to me yesterday, so you already know what I'm going to ask you, because it's my closing questions. But I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you again for the benefit of those that are watching. So if you had to give me one word to describe the reason for your success. Or maybe two. What would that word or those words be?
I mean, I don't know if there's one or two or 20. But I mean, I think hard work.
Yeah.
Honestly. Actually, Jeremy, who you probably can't see, but he's sitting somewhere in this room. He's in the process of getting his license, and he's going to hit this world full on. And our first meeting was a coffee meeting a week or two ago, an introduction and, how can I help you? And he's got a lot going on. He may or may not be going on auditions to be an actor. He may or may not be having, he's a tennis player, so he might be giving tennis lessons. He might be, and what I've found, and I said this to you yesterday, I'm not trying to squash people's dreams by any stretch,
Right.
But if you want to do this job and you want to do it on a very high level, this is not part-time.
No.
This is not like, well, I'm going to do this so I can make room for all these other things in my life. Like, unfortunately, that doesn't work.
No.
And I've been training people for 12 years, and the ones who come into LA, because I'm in a slightly different market, obviously, than you are, but like, this city is built of people coming from all over the world to chase their dreams. And so real estate is like, oh, this is a cool thing I'll do on the side, make a bunch of money. And it's like that, that just doesn't work. If you want to do 2 or 3 deals a year, if that's your bag, then cool. That'll probably do it. But so the long-winded version of my 1 or 2 words, I think, is just just put your head down and work hard. And I think that's something that I'm an old guy.
Please.
By the time this airs, I'll be 44. But the 20 to whatever, the millennials, whatever that age group is, and like, I don't have anything against them at all, and I have a lot of them in my life, and they're great people, but it's a slightly different, it's an entitlement thing. They've been told certain things throughout their life, and it's like, well, hey, I've been working really hard for 3 months. How come I don't have what you have?
Right.
I told a story the other day to one of my guys that he went with me on an appointment, and they're investors. My clients are investors, and they do a lot of flipping and new builds and all these different things. So I go and meet with them. It's a team of people, and we're looking at some crap, this house that basically either needs to get like bulldozed or whatever. And we're all kind of joking and laughing and talking. And then we got back in the car to leave, and the agent that I'm mentoring was like, that's that relationship you have with them. It's so cool, and you're so honest, and it's so much fun, and you guys laugh, and you da-da-da-da-da. And, it took me 5 years.
Right.
And by the way, like, that's not a joke, and that's not hyperbole.
Right.
I was on the phone, emailing, and in the car with these guys for 5 years.
Right.
I probably bought 100 lattes,
Yeah.
50 lunches,
Yeah.
and 30, tanks of gas
Right.
for the first deal.
Right.
Now, I do 3 to 5 deals with them a year.
Right.
They're amazing, and I'm they're loyal to me. I'm loyal to them. Everybody's great, but it doesn't take 3 months. It doesn't even take a year. It took 5 years with this particular.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm going on and on, but just work.
No,
hard.
that's good. It's
Don't
interesting.
complain.
Yeah, we've had a few people on our team, that come in, and I think that work hard, and it's our living, our profession. We tend to make it look easy for those who are coming into. There's nothing easy about this, right? I mean, nothing easy about this.
And I mean, on some level, I know your story as well, and it's like someone comes into your world and says, "Well, I want what you've got."
Right.
How do I get what you've got?
Right.
It's like, well, it's a pretty simple answer.
Right.
Work your
Get
butt
to work.
off. I've been doing it for X amount of years.
Right.
And I'm all about stories, but another quick story.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother Greg Simpson up north in Los Gatos. But I mean, this is a crazy story. So he's working at a very high level, and he's in Los Gatos, where houses are $3 to $5 million. That's like the normal number that he's dealing in. But he's a machine. He works his butt off. He's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. He's got a crazy job. All the things that we all do. A client called him who was the wife of a coach for the Niners, for the San Francisco 49ers. And he's positioned himself that he handles a lot of the CEO and all these different high-level people at all these different tech firms because he's in the Silicon Valley and also, the Niners. And one of the wives called and said, listen, my husband's the so-and-so coach, offensive line coach, whatever, and he's unavailable, but I'm flying in this weekend, and I would like you to show me houses on Sunday. And it turns out she just wants to lease. She and her husband want to lease. And up north, they don't get paid for leases. Oh. I don't know how you guys do it, but we get paid. Just not a lot.
Yep.
You get scratched.
Right.
But up there, nothing, zero. Like that's a money-losing proposition.
Right.
He smiled and said, yes, I will be available to you Sunday. We're going to spend all day looking at houses. He showed her, 8 or 10 houses. Well, what he didn't tell her was that his family vacation to Hawaii was set, and his family got on a plane Sunday morning.
Yeah.
He pushed his flight back to Monday morning.
Yeah.
Missed a day of his vacation.
Yeah.
Spent $300 or $400 to change the flight from Sunday to Monday.
Right.
The client doesn't need to know that.
No.
And all the little agents around him that want what he's got, but don't work hard, they don't understand what he's sacrificing.
Right.
But he drove a client around all day long, missed a day of his, because he knew that's the right thing to do.
Of course.
And she's going to go tell everyone else how great he is, and that's going to turn out to be a good thing for him. Right. But sacrifice.
Yeah, it is. It's all about it. You're right.
That conversation with his wife must have been an interesting
Yeah, I'm
one.
sure. Yeah. You're going to Hawaii without me, and I'm not making any money.
My wife. Everything's great.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, are you still playing the drums?
Am I playing the drum right now?
I mean, just whenever you still play.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Not, it's. I've never really had any kind of like horrible addiction to some horrible thing, but I think drumming on some level is an addiction to me.
Right.
So for me, I can't just drum. Like I can't. I either full on go I get back in that crazy mindset of I'm going to go do this. So it can't really be a hobby. But I have a band called Egg.
I saw that. Yeah.
And we play like punk rock for 5-year-olds.
That's cool. That's great.
And it's awesome. It's the most fun, actually. Ironically, it's the most fun I've ever had playing the drums. It's also something that I know is not going to take me out of LA. It's not going to, it is what it is. We play these events and the kids go crazy and it's good fun and I get to go home.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
My daughter's the musician in the family now.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. That's great. Listen, I know you're a busy guy. I really appreciate your time. If somebody sees this and wants to give you a call, wants to help you, have you
Don't call me.
Yeah.
Don't email me.
Where do they call you? How do they get a hold of you at Clark Living?
So my website, thanks for asking. So my website is clarkliving.com. My email address is steve@clarkliving.com and always available. And, on some level, I love talking to newer agents and, I've become a huge advocate of social media. And so if anyone wants to reach out to me and ask me questions about how that whole thing works, I'd be happy to talk to them.
Great. All right. Hey, listen, appreciate your time. Have a great weekend. Hope you get some time off with the family, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, bro.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right, take care. All right, bye-bye.